Hey there, film fans. I'm Jeff.
I'm Dave.
And I'm John, and welcome back to The Love of Cinema, a pod in which we'll challenge one another to discuss movies, both new and old, with a strictly positive critical eye.
That's right. And to avoid lazy negativity, we decided to make this here episode a drinking game. So, Jesus. So anytime we say anything negative at all, you're going to hear this sound. That sound means that we're going to take a drink, and we really hope you drink along with us at home.
So pour yourselves a glass, grab our D20, and roll a constitution check on the new Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Cheers. Cheers.
Come on, I had to do it.
Honestly, I can't wait to re-listen to that joke on my playback tomorrow morning.
Yeah, and then you'll look up what it actually means.
Yep.
I was gonna say, I might need you to explain a little bit of that.
Well, somebody out there is going to be really appreciative of. That's right, people. Today we're talking about the new film Dungeons and Dragons, The Fellowship of the Helmet. We're talking about it here today on the podcast.
Yeah, seriously.
Jeez.
Yeah. I mean,
Very excited. Honor Among Thieves, $71 million opening weekend projection. It's still Sunday. Who knows? Maybe it'll go up. Maybe it'll go down. Assumed estimated production budget $150. This won the box office. I think it's going to stay in the big format for another week. I don't think. No, is it Mario that's bumping it next week?
Mario probably is.
Guys, I know video game movies are not new. There's television shows right now. We just had Last of Us. We had Halo last year. We have, going back to Doom and Tomb Raider and
Resident Evil.
Resident Evil.
3 times.
Yeah. And then, of course, you have all the Mario movies, including coming out next week. Guys, I saw Tetris, too. I'll tell you about it at the end of this movie.
Dude, what are they doing, though, releasing? They've already made the perfect Mario movie.
Oh, that, yeah.
Honestly, they got it right in the 90s. Bob Hoskins, no one will ever top it.
Nobody. Money. Money.
It's so rare now you can't even get it in the US.
Yeah, we didn't mention Sonic. Yes, and we all watched that in our childhood growing up. But the IP, they want to make their money off of it. Also, what if they were like, let's make the Italian plumber not Italian?
Well, that's removing a racial stereotype.
Ooh,
they've done the right thing.
Yeah, maybe. Let's see what the audience thinks on that one. All right.
Yeah.
So if you're new to the podcast, thank you so much for joining us. We drink beer and we talk about movies. We try to keep it positive. Pretty simple. At the end of the episode, we'll tell you what we've been watching in our segment, What You've Been Watching, to see if you agree with any of our recommendations of the week. Right now, we're going to get through some gripes, some things going on, some catching up. So if you want to get to the movie review, you can skip ahead a little bit. We're going to try to keep it spoiler-free for a couple minutes, maybe 10 or so. So we just tell you what we think, what we feel, and then we'll get into the specifics in our open-ended conversation after that. Any news before we get into our gripes, you two?
Nope.
No big news.
Should we talk about our sponsors? We still have sponsors, right? We should mention them.
I don't know. One of our sponsors is on the Patreon of someone else's podcast, but
that's right.
That's true.
He loves it.
We have to start the opportunity for him to even be
our
on our
sponsor
Patreon.
Has given more money. Never mind. I shouldn't say it. You know what I mean.
No, it's true.
All right.
Amen,
He's giving
Mark.
us our music for free. We love that. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. You may know him as the artist Dasein, providing all the music on this episode and every single episode. That's Dasein, Dasein. You can find their music for free, available on all the major music platforms. Go there, download it, enjoy yourself. And we haven't mentioned him in a while, but our beer, the proverbial beer that used to be sent to us that is no longer in our hands.
Sorry,
but
Carlos.
We still like to think about it and remember it. Carlos Barroso is our beer sponsor. You can find that man on Instagram at cbarroso.beer. Check the show notes for the link.
he did get us very drunk when we started, so
yeah,
I'll take it.
I met him during COVID.
Also, our unofficial sponsor, the Matt and Mark movie show, who
we're also sponsored by the Matt and Mark movie show.
Had a little bit of fun with us on April Fool's Day this year.
No one has given us more promotion outside of our own social media.
Yeah. We haven't even paid for more promotion.
More than us.
On their show. Yeah, way more than we have. Yeah. Matt and Mark, thank you. Thank you so much.
Check their Instagram if you want to see what they did on April Fool's Day.
What special favors can we do so that they can take over our Instagram for like a month? That would be really great, actually.
Sexual. Immediately.
I'm just saying It's all on the table. Just like that Fire Festival guy that met.
All right,
anyway.
well, can you get it off the table? Because that's in your camera shot.
What's in my camera shot? Oh, get out of here. You.
Come on.
I already picked the beer out.
Yeah.
So you guys want to get in our gripes so that we can get talking about this here movie?
Sure.
All right, Dave, you got a gripe?
Not really, no. I went to AMC Times Square again this week, and I had a pretty good screening.
Keep going back.
Well, I gave them one more shot. This was
never going back.
This was their last chance. This was their last chance.
Dave, you said last week you were making it official that you were never going back.
It's just so easy to get to from my house.
That is funny.
So you had a good
I will say one thing. Okay, quickly for AMC
Yeah, there you go. It
Times
sounds
Square.
like you got something.
Can you please fix your shit? Because I'm sick of walking out of the theater to tell you the pre-show hasn't kicked in. It's like 15 minutes past the showtime start and none of the pre-show has kicked in. The projector's sitting there blank.
Wow.
All of a sudden it comes on like
Wait.
halfway through a trailer.
What?
Yeah. That shit's supposed to start automatically. It doesn't.
I have
and it's
never
been doing
experienced
It's
that.
been doing it for weeks. And right at the end of Nicole, man, she turns to the camera and she's be here because here they are, and it just drops out. The audio just drops out completely, consistently every week.
You didn't see the trailers?
No, we kicked in at the end of the Wes Anderson trailer.
Dave, you're about to get some people sued right now. We got to promote this on TikTok. This is where we get our followers. AMC. These people are paying you.
They skipped half the pre-show, and this is not the first
We go
time.
for free because
remember
these
that photo,
ads.
remember that photo I posted a couple of weeks ago where it was just a mouse pointer in the middle of the fucking screen? Yeah, that was AMC Times Square. Like, something is wrong with their Dolby. Like, I've gone over. I've just gone over. It's
That one was
Dude,
funny though.
that's
That
crazy. That one, Empire specifically, the theater that Dave's talking about, never seems to have enough employees there. It's so big, but there are like floors of concessions in there. You know, I know there's always at least one concession stand, like a secondary one that's empty in every movie theater, but this one just always seems like there's no way the 10 people I've seen can run this like 6-story building like efficiently.
in Times Square on 42nd Street.
yeah.
That's crazy. I have a little AMC. Don't count this as my gripe. Let me just jump on for a second. Have you guys been experiencing the lack of comprehension of which side of the number your seat is actually, like which seat is actually your seat? People think it's to the right, and then a whole row will have to like shift when somebody comes late. Or that's happened to me every single screening for the past couple of months. I've had people come a little bit late, just like I do, you know, not seeing all the trailers, and then they have to force everyone to like get up and move, and then there's a fight about whether you're supposed to sit to the left or the right of the number.
All right, it's a simple concept. People, the first seat in the row has the number on the correct side.
Good point.
They skip it. Obviously, they skip it, and they get to the middle, and they just see it, and they think,
"Yeah,
this has got to be me."
I don't know.
I mean, see, I always go to Dolby, so at least with Dolby, they have it on both armrests.
Yes, they're both
Not
numbers.
on ours, dude.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
Dolby, we
Not
got
on ours,
both
dude.
numbers on both armrests at
Yeah,
Dolby.
they
And I
Dude,
think
I've noticed
too.
it.
Dude, they probably got sick in New Yorkers getting in punch-ups, so they fixed it over here.
Honestly, dude, I've seen some fights go down where people come in late and they're like, "No, these are my fucking seats. Get out of the way." And they're like, "We're sitting already, dude. Get up. The movie's starting."
I mean, when we had
On a
Marcus
lighter
on for
note-
Scream, he told the same story. They had gotten a fight at the back.
Yeah, it has definitely happened. I had to sit in the wrong seat today because there were two people who were convinced they were in the right seat. It didn't really matter. But
I sat in the wrong seat yesterday as well. Yeah.
It's like, just so you know, you're wrong. Very on a much lighter note, there was a very excited group of people for the Nicole segment, a couple rows behind me, and they were like,
good.
"Yeah," screaming, and they were like,
Did you get the full one? Was it the full one?
"Yeah, we got the full one." What's her last line? What's her last line?
Yes, they are.
They are. They were like right before she did it. They were like, "They are." They like all screamed it together, and then as soon as it was over, one of them yelled out, "Who is she?" it was pretty good.
All right, that's good. Johnny,
I have a tiny gripe.
Okay, go ahead.
It's not. I'm just going to point it out because I thought it very interesting. Hit me. One of the consider this episode's touched on. I'm sure there's anybody who's been reading and following the AI stuff. There is now a large letter that is written by a bunch of tech officials, some tech heads of major companies, some academics.
They love ChatGPT.
They are basically just saying this is not to the government. This is just to the community. They're basically saying for the ethics, for the morals, for the sake of where we're at, we've proved that we could go further. Please press pause until we can all work with the government to figure out some parameters, legal restrictions, or, regulations otherwise, because it could easily just get really slippery. So I found that really interesting. And I feel like I am team pause. I think we need a year or so for us to actually do this as urgently as possible, or the world is about to change.
Yeah. I
before
know.
very
I know they
fucking
did.
eyes.
They did invent something recently that you can put on your artwork when you release it, when you post it online. You can run it through this thing, and it basically stops them feeding it to an AI to train it, so it can't read the file or whatever. And that, I mean, that's a good idea. But yeah, you're right. It's getting out. It like, I mean, with any new technology, it explodes and everyone starts using it, and then suddenly people go, "Oh, what nefarious can I use this for?"
Guys, I said it a couple weeks ago. Please watch the John Oliver episode about this. And it's actually not the main story, but he mentions when they have the bot go on Twitter and they've given it no information. It just says, absorb everything around you and create a personality. And it went from, I love cats and mittens to, you know what, Hitler might have been right within 24 hours. Like literally, it is forcing you to do that.
This guy... sorry, there you're done. Keep going.
Well, I was just going to say that I was listening to podcasters who used to be in DC recently, and they said that I didn't realize this, but it's actually the legal strategy of these tech companies is to come into Congress, and they always look miserable and they always look shaken up. But their number one job is prove to Congress that they don't know anything about this, so they leave you alone.
Also, for anyone who tuned in at the moment when Jeff said Hitler might have been right, that was in reference to a longer conversation. Please go back and listen to the whole thing. Hitler's a dick.
Yes, to be clear. Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, sure. What an intense caveat. This story I listened to, if anyone wants to listen to it on Consider This, opens with a man who was an academic, and I think he teaches at what's that school that Wharton, that our ex-president who will be arraigned next week,
be the
claims he went to.
He did go. He went. No, he went. He just didn't necessarily have to do any work. Yeah,
he went in the same way that George W. Bush went to Yale.
Oh my God,
I mean? They did go.
George W. Bush, who said the secret. He said the secret society he was in is so secret he can't talk to you about it.
I can't talk about it. Anyway, this dude, his opening segment in his plea to putting his sign on the letter and then putting out like a message to the internet just saying, I signed this, blah, blah, blah. He made this little video, and it's him giving a lecture on the ethics of AI. And then part of the way through the video, some stuff starts to happen with his voice, and then the face dissolves, and it goes to the real video of him talking about it. And he basically says, that was a deep fake of me giving a lecture that I've never written before, talking about it in whatever, he was basically saying it took me $11 in about 8 minutes. I just did some voice sampling, created a deep fake, and then I gave ChatGPT a topic that I wanted to talk about with my background. And that was the video that just came out. We're not ready to go forward. That was way too easy.
Yeah.
And it's, it's just...
Guys, the reason it's not going to happen is because, at least one political party is going to be weaponizing it in 2024. They're figuring out right now how to fuck about it. Okay, can I get my gripes so we can get on with this? We're not a political tech.
We're fine because they tend to log in on what they think is their burner account. It's not.
Talk about another fucking vegetable that you can't stand, Jeff. Really take us to the stars here.
Hit it. John.
I drink.
Go, Jeff.
Guys, how do pubes get to the top of the urinal?
Okay, okay, stop. Come on. You're banned. We're moving. Okay, all right, finish your thought.
Gushing?
Well, that's how they get there.
Gushing? No, but I mean, it's okay. Maybe there's a really tall person, but I feel they're definitely pubes, and they're on top of it. But the worst part, this is the worst part, is that when you have a job where you go in once a week, and whoa, what was that? A hum. I wonder if that's gonna get cycled out. Anyway,
that was a motorbike.
That was a motorbike. Okay, so they clean the bathrooms because I know that they replaced the soap. They clean it. They clearly clean the bathroom, but they just ignore the top of the urinal. So these pubes are here indefinitely, and they really seem placed. It seems like somebody.
What are they getting grayer?
I just don't understand when it comes to the bathroom. Why do we ignore? Like you can't have the beard hair, right? But in a public bathroom, how do they get up there? And somebody's got to take one for the team and just swipe it off. Because the cleaning crew's not going to do it.
Is somebody like reverse kangaroing the urinal?
You tell me.
Look it up.
Jeff, did you step up and clean off stranger pubes?
No.
Yeah, of course not, dude. Nobody's touching that shit.
There's still a wrapper right outside my door that I'm like, when is someone going to clean this up?
Well, I mean, if you won't do it for free, why would someone do it for $7 an hour?
Because they
Shout
changed
out
the
to-
so.
Shout out to Phoebe Buffet's hit single at Central Perk, "Little Black Curly Hair." Recommend giving that a listen.
They're not little. They're pretty long. Anyway, let's get into our episode here about Dungeons and
Maybe
Dragons.
they're ethnic men's beard hair.
It's possible.
They sneezed or something.
The image that I have very clearly in my head.
What is the image in your head? How are you imagining that they get there?
Let's move on to our episode, Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves.
And if you're just joining us, I recommend going back about 3 minutes because that was epic.
We finally made it. Timestamp 15 minutes. Okay, this is written and directed by the John and by the Johns, John and Jonathan. Do they go by John and Jonathan? John Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein, who wrote Spider-Man: Homecoming, and you may know them from Game Night as well. It seems to be the credit they
John
get
Francis
a lot of
Daly
love.
as well
Bosses.
he played Sweets in Bones for
John
a fair
Francis Daly
portion of the.
was also in Waiting.
They
He
roast,
famously
they
left
roast some
Bones to direct Vacation, which bombed badly.
Vacation.
He still got paid. Yeah.
Yeah,
So they know how to make.
I watched it. It's not that bad.
They know how to make big budget comedies. They do, which is here we are in Dungeons and Dragons. Apparently, this was John Francis Daly's idea, but you get a story credit from Chris McKay, Michael Gilio. Anyway, this is Paramount Studios, co-produced by Chris Pine. And if you were wondering about the tone, for anybody who was wondering about the tone, I listened to a podcast with Jeremy Latcham, who is a producer on this film, who worked on some MCU films, including Guardians of the Galaxy, Iron Man, Spider-Man: Homecoming, and The Avengers. So they hired the right person to help them segue into their own world-building efforts here. The cast is huge. You got Letty, another big movie year for Michelle Rodriguez. You got Chris Pine, Letty,
Family.
Regé-Jean Page, who maybe is just trying to keep his skills sharp for that Bond conversation, trying to keep his stunts performing up. He's in here. We have Justice Smith, Sophia Lillis, Hugh Grant. In that opening trailer, which we definitely didn't need because we've been going to movies for a year and a half where they thanked us for coming. We know you're thankful. We know.
Yeah,
We don't need
That
it.
was so awkward.
that was.
We
You can tell
was
everyone
so
was like,
weird.
"Is it over yet?"
Chris
They were
Pine.
all like,
Chris
we're
Pine
not-
is like, I produced this movie, so I technically hired whoever's telling me to do this. So I'm going to pretend to be excited about it. And then you get
God,
to
that
Hugh
was
Grant.
so weird, dude.
You get to Hugh Grant, and he was like, let's just get on with this fucking movie, people.
Yeah,
I said I
Hugh
was going to
Grant
retire
says what
from
we're
this
all
shit.
thinking.
And then Daisy had Chloe Coleman, a couple shout outs there too. So Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. The initial reviews before this came to theaters was pretty damn positive. The Rotten Tomatoes was in the 80s. I think it still is. What did you two think? Let me read the IMDb description, and then I'll pass it along. Oh fuck! I hit the wrong button. Hold on. Here we go. A charming young thief. Jeez, just such a big sniff. Hold on.
Yes.
I'm
Did
reading
you
this
add in the
description.
word
It's like,
young? I just have charming thief in my IMDb blurb.
guys, I saw the Yankee game today, and it's hard not to drink during a Yankee game.
So if you're feeling a little slurry.
Oh,
It's for pre-gaming the show.
to all of my underage voice students that are listening to this podcast, I'm so sorry. A charming thief and a band of unlikely adventurers embark on an epic quest to retrieve a lost relic. But things go dangerously awry when they run
That's appropriate.
afoul of the wrong people.
Okay,
Initial
there's a
takeaways,
couple of
spoiler free.
others in there. I don't know.
I leaned into them. What'd you think? What'd you feel? Who wants to go first? John, here's what I think about. If we did Tetris this week, which is on Apple TV Plus, this is my thought while I was watching this with a friend. If we did Tetris this week, you would have quit this podcast and we would have never seen you again.
Did you watch it?
Yes.
Is it that bad?
Well, you'll hear
boy,
what I
you
think at
guys.
the end of this segment. I just have a feeling if you were watching this and you're like, we have to talk about this, I think you would have just said, guys,
Yeah.
I need a break. I want a break. A sabbatical. What'd you guys think of this goddamn movie?
I'll start. I did not really want to go see this movie or give this franchise my money. I don't care about D&D. I really like and appreciate the nature of the game, though I never really got into playing it when I was younger. And it yielded some really amazing tangential storytelling in shows like Stranger Things and stuff. And I am a huge Lord of the Rings fan, so I'm not like anti-fantasy, like the genre by any means. This was actually really funny though. They did such a good job with the humor that all of the other stuff that I don't give a shit about was fine to watch and get my way through, because there were some genuinely funny moments. Chris Pine is channeling Jason Bateman so fucking hard in this movie, dude. And he's really, really good at it. So like, I have no problem with anybody's performances. Even what I was saying, like, I don't really care about this subject matter. I still don't care, but it doesn't get in the way of itself. The plot moves fine. You get to where you need to go very efficiently, but also with humor. Like, at every chance they get, they have some good quips. There's some good physical humor, good visual humor. There's some pretty good action scenes. So if you're into D&D, I think you're going to fucking eat this shit up, unless you're like a loyalist and maybe something I don't know about why you wouldn't like a representation of a power or a magic or a character. I don't know anything about that, so maybe you might hate that. I think the average moviegoer doesn't need to go see this movie, but if you want some spectacle and escapism, it's good entertainment, and it was funny.
Dave?
I am a D&D player of old.
Nice.
I have 6 sets of dice. Like, not in this country. I left them at home.
Sorry, I love you.
Then I got into the computer games. I've walked the streets of Neverwinter. I saved Baldur's Gate. All the things they mention in this.
You say Baldur's Gate?
So a lot of it was actually. I am going to be asking you questions, and when you can clarify some things that are in the game.
The monsters and places. I would say 99% of those were legit and spot on.
Nice, man, that's fun. Good,
yeah, so that was great for anyone who played D&D and doesn't appreciate how good this film was is gatekeeping. They need to settle down.
Is that happening on Twitter?
Not as far as I've seen. So far it's been overwhelmingly positive, because like it's fun. I feel like the trailer does it a bit of a disservice because it looks like a joke-ridden romp like Guardians, but they pull back a little, and there's not all of it is jokes. Like, there's some storyline and some subtlety in there as well.
There is, but I felt like the trailer was a pretty good representation of the tone of this movie.
I was waiting for a few more jokes, and instead I got story, and I didn't mind that at all, to be honest.
Okay.
But it is action, swords and sorcery, touch of humor, almost no gore and swearing. So this is a great film to take your kids to.
It felt like a good family movie for sure,
and it's fun. Yeah. Like, people have been saying on Twitter all weekend, it's like, I took my kids to this, and like, my wife is now playing Neverwinter Nights. My kid is trying to have a D&D date with someone.
That's fun.
Yeah, so it's getting people into it, and it's a fun, imaginative game. And the movie really does it justice, and I enjoyed the hell out of it.
That's really great. I did see some children, with some parents, and just some kids, some lone kids. No, I saw some kids with their parents in my theater, and they seem to be having a real blast.
Yep.
A lot of smiles. I heard the kids laughing, and I did think to myself at one point, like, if I didn't have a podcast, I probably wouldn't have seen this. I definitely would have brought my kid to see this movie.
Yeah.
I think we would have had a good time together watching it.
It's magic. There's no superpowers. It's not like there's wizards and shit like that. It's just straight up, like, the kid doesn't have to learn, 15 years of lore to get it.
Right. You don't need to. Yeah.
Like, it's simple. It's effective. They did it well. It looks like they had fun with it too. Like, it looks like it's not a frame where they don't look like they're having a fucking blast making this film.
According to that promo thing did not seem like they actually had fun.
No one was having fun.
But the film itself, it did look like they were enjoying themselves.
I'm pretty sure at least one person was high as hell in the background of that. But yeah,
press junkets are strange.
Man, that was weird.
I think the most pretentious thing you could say about this movie is that it was successful. Like, at the very least, it was definitely a successful movie, and I as for the few Dungeons and Dragons fans I know, they all seem to be really liking this movie, along with you now, Dave, too.
Who are they? Let's out them.
No, I love
dude, we're not
get out of your D&D closet right now.
Yeah,
Don't ever talk about it.
We're not in the middle of satanic panic anymore. D&D is cool now. There are televised games of this shit.
Guys, Stranger Things was at its best when they were just playing
Things, dude.
when they were just playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Like, I worked with an actor back in Australia who now is part of a podcast series called Dice Paper Roll, and they play live on the episode, but now they also do live games at the Melbourne Comedy Festival.
Is that the really popular one? Because I've heard there is a podcast where they do it live, and it's like enormously popular and entertaining.
Dice Paper Roll seems to be catching on a lot.
Jesus
what's the name?
Christ. Oh my God. This is in my segment of this fucking podcast. And it's not me. Dave, speaking of Melbourne, you guys really fucked up the Australian Grand Prix yesterday. It was very exciting, but you used 3 stops. They just stopped the race 3 times. Fucking Australia. Oh my God.
What was there, a croc on the track or something?
Yeah, what was it? It was, crikey! Look at the scales on that fucker. Look at.
Crikey! Somebody get a knife.
Was there a croc on the track? Get a knife.
Somebody tickle his belly.
This is a multi-billion-dollar sport.
Is there a croc on the track?
Oh, the snatcher! I don't know anything. Okay, let's. Okay, what am I talking about?
Oh God, that's
Shut
so
up!
good. That's
Shut
so
up!
funny.
Shut up!
Oh, that's so funny, dude.
Stop being Australian.
Look, this movie was great. The lead of the movie is one of the most attractive people of all time, who was really funny, but he wasn't just in here cracking jokes, because Chris Pine was husband to a murdered wife, father to a kidnapped child, and he will have his vengeance.
Yes.
In this life or the next. Yeah, dude. I mean, yeah.
Look, it tips its cap to all I can't help but just be minimalist of brain, minimalist of mind, and be like, that looks like King's Landing. That looks like the Land of Men.
Yeah.
We had
all of that shit they got from D&D.
I was about to say, George
you're
R.
probably right.
played D&D, right?
Yeah. I mean, I was playing this in the 80s.
You're probably right.
And
I mean, you also
when did it pop out? When did it start?
I think Dice wrote it in the 70s.
60s?
so right around
70s?
Lord of the
70s.
Rings. Yeah, you had Bradley Baggins in there. That was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently hung. Apparently.
Dude. Yeah. No, Jeff, these all. Keep going. We'll talk about that for sure, though.
I liked this movie. I had a feeling that I was gonna like the what I was hearing was the whispers in my ear were gonna be very few people are going willingly. They're going because they need things to do, or or they're going with they don't know. They don't know what this is gonna be, and everybody, it's either exceeding expectations or it's just like a pleasant surprise of some kind. It's not life changing. This is probably closer to like Raiders than all the things we're saying, where it's like, oh my God, this works as a standalone, but it could be. Because honestly, at the end of this movie, we'll get into it later, but I thought they were going to pull a to be continued. They could have done that, you know what I mean? But it's like, they were like, let's make a good movie. I thought it was fun. It was a very strange, interesting group of characters.
Yeah, you'll see that party again.
It was an interesting group of characters, but they weren't so crazy from one another that I needed to have 20 backstories. If all the characters, so a lot of the extreme characters, quote unquote, are they're on the outside. So I'm sure, like, if you want more, if you can learn more about them. But it seemed very simple. We didn't need to know much about it. We learned about them as they went along. I thought they unfolded it really well. A couple little backstory moments, but they did it in such a fun way. It was almost Princess Bride in how they did their backstories, and I just think the movie was successful. It's a great rewatch, I think, and I think we're happy to have it in the world, even if was a surprise that we were going to be covering it on this here podcast.
You think you're going to rewatch this movie?
I mean, I don't rewatch things like this, but I might. I mean, I would if I was with another person. I would. I wouldn't watch it by myself.
I'm going to show everyone this movie that I can.
If you're with other people, for sure.
Also, if there are people that have played games or played the original dice and paper version, they were so loyal to the material. The monsters were accurate to the game, pretty much. And some things
are funny. I love a fat dragon. It's funny.
Oh, okay. That was funny. And
Pudgy dragon. Well, Pudgy's a funny word.
I mean, they've shown him in the trailer, so it's okay to talk about that, because the red dragon is something you do not want to meet in a fucking cave. That thing will kill you. Real I'm assuming hard.
I don't want to meet any dragon ever, but I think dragons in caves, I think, is also on my list of things I don't want to run into.
And also, I love that when they showed the black dragon, they because they have different breaths in the game, and of course, the black dragon was spewing the acid gel. It was acid. It's acid. There's all different ones. One of them has lightning breath. Yeah, but the red dragon definitely, like, whenever it roared and you saw the little sparks,
Dave is rock hard.
Dude, not only that, it reminded me of my
It's
gas
just-
stove at home because, like, a dish broke and water got on it. So it was like I had to light it with a match for, like, fucking forever. But, yeah.
So that you
it
can
was,
see your cards? What do you mean? What are you talking about?
just went off on a tangent. It's fine. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I am definitely showing this to everyone I can. This was a great work.
All right, let's open it up
It was
to.
successful.
Let's get into our spoiler
hitting
section
the
so we can just open up the conversation a bit.
All right,
Go
spoilers.
see the movie.
Spoilers.
Here there be spoilers.
Ah, someone's been to the YouTube.
That's right. I'm
Yeah,
trying to get
really.
us some spins.
I
Yeah.
really did think he was. Chris Pine has always been like super charming, and so I wasn't shocked at all. But there were some. This was the first time that I really felt like Bateman is inside him in this
Did you-
performance.
Did you listen to the Smartless episode with Jordan Peele?
Not yet. No.
It's almost a bummer because Jordan Peele is one of the funniest people on the planet, and he's a very serious person. He's a very thoughtful person, and the hosts, you could see them. It took them a while before they started fucking with him a little bit because at first they just wanted to like praise him, and it was like not that funny. But he talked about Bateman. He was like, somebody, I forget who it was. He was like, people have been doing you, man, and that was you. People are making money off of you, and it makes me mad every time I so like Jordan Peele was like, that's the Bateman. Everybody's doing the Bateman, and even he gives him like that 80s 90s TV cred as like creating comedy. This whole snarky, even Iron Man is, you could argue is probably what you're saying, John. Like that idea. That really smart, snarky, dry, sarcastic, but also honest delivery is so Bateman. Sorry, why are we praising the guy who's not even in this fucking movie? Sorry, John.
I mean, he was in Dodgeball, so, you know.
He wasn't. That's so funny.
You're not wrong, Cotton.
I did like half a day of filming on that. That's
right?
so good. I did like that they,
Thank you, Chuck
just
Norris.
as an example of the kind of like quippy writing that we're talking about in this movie, that it knows what it is. When Sophia Lillis, is that her name?
That's right.
Plays,
Young Beverly
plays-
from It.
yeah, young
Yes.
Beverly. That's how I know her. And Sharp
Gretel.
Objects, she's a great actor.
Wait,
when she was like,
yes, Sharp Idea.
when they were trying to kind of recruit her, and she was like, "And what do you do?" Like, just things like that, where they're like, kind of making him this charming, witty Captain Kirky kind of character. Like, and what do you do? Your skill set isn't like super obvious. Are you just the handsome white guy in the lead role of this movie? Or
Yeah.
and I like that
Yeah.
they lead into those things and they call him the planner and stuff.
I like that her quips weren't quips. They were like questions that we're all asking almost.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I should be asking that question.
They
So-
actually gave. I liked that they gave a lot of sincerity to all the supporting roles.
Yeah.
And he was the only one that was sarcastic. That's how these things should work. I mean, again, not to call Bateman out again, but that's his entire career. He's kind of the straight man surrounded by clowns.
Yeah.
And a lot of his funniest stuff. And I think they stuck to that formula for this, and it worked. Even Rodriguez, who I don't know if she's inherently a funny person. You know what I mean? Like sometimes people are just funny or not, and it doesn't really matter what lines you put in their mouths and what behavior you give them. Obviously, believable as a fighting badass warrior.
I love this
The
role.
lines
This role,
she had.
I don't think anyone else could have done that as well.
She was like
Yeah.
the surface pressure person from Encanto to our younger
Yeah.
listeners out there.
Oh my, nice.
Under the surface.
Yeah, I thought she was. Like even her lines that didn't always make me laugh, but I was like, thank God though they're letting her just play it seriously, and
Yeah.
that she's not supposed to be in on any of these jokes.
But you could tell she was having fun.
Yeah.
You knew she was having fun. She was like,
I think they were having fun. Yeah, I think
she's like,
so.
I'll just eat this potato and chill out here and wait to kill some dudes. Let's go. Yeah, whatever. Fine.
yeah, yeah.
That reminded me of the teacup scene in Riddick, Chronicles of Riddick.
With Vin, her boy.
I haven't seen that movie.
Yeah, no, there's three of them. Chronicles of Riddick is good. The third one he funded himself. Enough said.
It's all about Riddick. Yeah,
I love the way that
the movies.
you know what they did well in this movie, and it's hard to explain why, but I feel like our capable hands knew when they. Okay, let's just say this. In Tetris, they did not pull this specific thing off really well. But when you need to in a movie more than a TV show, when you need to recruit people, it can eat up a lot of time because you should give them their time to contemplate this ridiculous thing you're asking.
Have a montage.
Yeah, well, and montage is one way of speeding that up because you understand that in one conversation, you can't just convince someone to risk your life for you. You're a stranger. They don't even know who you are. They should sleep on it. If they were sane, they would sleep. If they had a business manager, they would sleep on it. But Sophia Lillis, the way that she turned outside and she was like, I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this because Treebeard's forest is being torn down. But even oh, he wakes up all the trees. And all the trees just show up just like that. All these dead trees are like, yes?
Yeah.
This is why I want to watch this movie. You can drink, you can smoke during it, and just have some fun.
Treebeard's getting some again.
But for some reason, I don't know. It's hard to explain why.
Treebeard fucks.
It's hard to explain. Well, he certainly has fucked a lot. That's for sure.
Can you not drop that one over a full of beer?
His seed has been sprayed all over the fucking dark forest. I think in this case,
we're all going down for those.
I mean, this movie, we got a new forest. What's it called? I forget what that forest is called.
Oh yeah, what was that forest? Dave?
What?
Fuck everybody.
What's
okay.
the name of that forest? Her land that was being.
I don't know.
Right. Such amateurs. Anyway, long story short is they pulled that up because here's the thing: the story matters. The only reason that
it's near enough to never win it and not take a day to travel. But no, I don't.
The only reason that the action sequences, they're all motivated. You know, I'm getting some action fatigue. I feel like every single week we see action movies. You know, there's some kind of action. We saw Scream a couple weeks ago. Get action, different kind. John Wick, action, everything. Even Megan is action. All the movies we've seen, Missing is action. Fucking action in every movie. We're not watching any Kramer versus Kramers this year so far. And all of it is motivated. And the story matters. And they're able to do it quickly and concisely in a way that, like, I feel like only Disney Animation can pull off that speed in which they get all this shit accomplished. So kudos to them. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, this was a tight 2 hours and 14 minutes. I thought it was perfect for, like, length and pacing. Dude, I have to point out, like, when they finally get to the maze at the end, fucking Displacer Beasts finally, like, displayed on film, like, in all their glory. Those fucking things are awesome. So. Yeah.
Is this a game reference?
It is, and they did it. Well, the things with the tails that were projecting themselves
like
somewhere else.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
They're Displacer Beasts. They're not where you think they are.
I'm surprised somebody didn't say, "Hey, by the way, they're doing this projection tactic. Be wary of it."
I feel like they did it without saying it, which is that's what the medium is supposed to do.
You know what? Touche, Dave. Touche. I didn't see any demigorgons, but otherwise, I feel like
if they'd gone, oh my god, a Displacer Beast, that would have been heavy-handed and shit.
Touche. I'll drink
also,
on my own behalf.
Also, dude, using the gelatinous cube for cover, like that is what made me want to see this film, because that was in the trailer when they dive into the gelatinous cube, and I know what happens when you dive into one of those things, so I was like, what the fuck? Like, they dove into one, and yeah, they played that really, really well.
How early do you think the game creators came up with the gelatinous cube?
They were stoned as fuck.
What the fuck is that shit?
It's like, basically, like, most people picture a dungeon as like a square hallway. So you want something to just come down the hallway and fill the hallway and come at you and attack you. That way you can't get around it. What are you going to do?
The gelatinous cube.
I think there was
some people die in that.
I think there was a horror movie in the 60s, wasn't there, called The Eye? And it was this eye going in a fucking hallway.
That sounds horrible. Hey,
it's probably based on that.
Have you ever pulled a cat out of a fish? I think, you know what's really good world building in here? Guys, the prison system here is so much more fleshed out than Shazam. Shazam had one jail that they just put all of the people in, aka two of them, and then we can't
talk about prison till Jonathan gets here.
So Jonathan gets here.
Jonathan. Were they saying Jonathan?
It's Jonathan.
Jonathan. Yeah.
That was funny.
That was funny.
Also, that I've seen a behind the scenes clip. That was a full animatronic suit, like wings and all.
Oh, cool.
Obviously not when they dove out the window, but like the suit itself. Yeah, like they use so much robotics in this for creatures that could have been CG'd and they just weren't.
I hope that was all one day of shooting both those scenes, and that person just gets tackled. That's all they do.
Yeah. And the rest of the court is not happy with him.
That was really funny because I still don't know if they actually knew Jonathan or, you know what I mean? I have no idea if they, but that was really well done.
I enjoyed the sequence that followed Sophia Lillis' character as she was, she got spotted, she got made by the witch, just the bug, changing and running out. The camera just stayed with her the whole time. That was fun. It was a good sequence.
Can we also talk about the witch? Daisy Head really fucking understood her assignment.
Yeah.
It's like, you just be a looming evil, stay very still in the background, somehow still draw attention as that thing in the room that's making you uneasy, but you don't know why you're uneasy. And then when it comes, but like she's always in the background, like being a presence. But when it came time for her to be fucking evil, she was fucking evil. Like there was no gradation there. It was like, that's an evil bitch.
I don't know what's this person's name?
Daisy Head. Actor? She's actually, you remember Anthony Head from Buffy, Giles?
Giles! I knew it. I was like, Anthony Head is
his daughter. Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yes.
It's Giles' daughter. And she's like only done genre. She's done Underworld, A Midsummer's Nightmare, Wrong Turn, The Sandman, Shadow and Bone, Exit Eve. Like, I feel like she only does.
She's got a thing.
In my opinion, she nailed this role.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know who is representing her, but I thought that was fucking crazy that her end credit was shared with his wife, who is literally in like 2 flashbacks.
Oh,
did you notice that?
No.
Her animated credit in the animated end credits before they actually go to the crawl.
Mm-hmm.
Hers is the only one that is shared. They share it together with the wife and the witch. I was like, what the fuck? The witch was a real character.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get it. So, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's something you negotiate.
I'm pretty positive.
If your agent doesn't negotiate a single title.
I think it was Daisy Head. I just thought it was weird because everybody else had their own titles.
Yeah.
And she was clearly like a living, breathing character that came up multiple times in their reality and big climax. I don't know. I thought that was strange. Not that the wife character actor didn't do a good job, but
again, you're right. That's an agent thing because that's negotiated.
That's all negotiated. Yeah, that is all.
I mean,
all the stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, this was
Regé-Jean
Page. Regé-Jean Page did a good job. I was worried about him after Gray Man, but this was a good. He recovered well.
Dude, he was the perfect. Like his presence in the movie was absolutely perfect. He wasn't there the whole time. When he turned up, it was just amazing. Like
I feel like I don't say this very often, but I feel like
he was just better than everyone else, and he just knew it.
The character, because I feel like I almost feel like I think about my young actor, the acting stuff. I teach him voice, but I feel like it's good to know your assignment in such a way that it's so easy to put on a show when you do that kind of role. He still seemed very human, but at the same time, he also seemed like he understood he came from a game.
Well, that's the thing. It's like he's a paladin. Paladins are fucking insufferable. They just are.
But he did it in a way without being. He was closer.
For anyone who's taking umbrage with that who plays the game, I'm usually chaotic good, just for the reference.
But what is a character in Emperor's New Groove like Kronk, where you're like this like high person that has like all this power and clout, but you're actually a buffoon. Anyway, it's like I know he's not a buffoon. He's actually really smart, but he also wants to be he wants to be funny. It's hard to be funny when you're arrogant. It really is. You know what I mean? So
and I think one antidote they had to that as a dilemma when they were trying to write the character was by allowing Chris Pine's character to point out over and over again just how annoying his righteousness was.
Especially the walking away scene. He's walking away. Look at him. He just walks in a straight line.
You're pretty much better at everything else. Everything else. You're pretty much better at everything.
The walking of the line thing was really
except for talking.
Yeah,
it's really not fun to talk to you.
So, wait, this is interesting. I'm gonna make a connection here. So we talked about how Chris Pine is doing the Bateman thing, which is great because he's the straight man, but he's also snarky, commenting on everybody else. I feel like in these kinds of movies, and I don't just mean to like put this down as in like inferior IP, but in fantasy and sci-fi and adventure and quest and all these kinds of genres. Sometimes you can run the trap of having the person be straight and then having the sidekick comment negatively on the lead. And what that can do is it can basically call out their own writing. And it can be like, oh, that was a bad choice. Oh, I guess we have to go in the dark alley for plot reasons, but for no reason other than that, oh, that's a stupid choice, and we are aware of that. But when you do it for Regé-Jean Page's character, who is a supporting character, even though you could argue he was like the lead of that chapter because of his significance to that task, you could get away with it. You could do it. But if the whole movie was Regé-Jean Page in that lead role with that point of view, the whole movie would have crumbled.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yes. He had no place in that final fight.
Because I was expecting him to come back. I was expecting him to
I thought he was gonna
pull a Harrison Ford in Star Wars. I thought he was gonna come back at the end. Hey kid,
well,
good shooting. My clunker apparently is not getting blown up by all these fast, short range planes.
Yeah. You know who I was expecting to come back in that final scene when he was running away with the big fucking cup that he'd salvaged and he fell off the hill and like Hugh Grant's laying on the ground. I was expecting the dead guy from the coffin to turn up then.
Oh, that could have been fun.
Yeah, that was a fun little sequence with all the dead guys.
And that was in the trailer too, but they didn't give away the joke. It was still fun.
Yeah, they did not give away the joke at all.
Because they were like, we had a second joke, which is wrong guy. That was a really funny.
There was so many good ones in that. It's just like we're going to be here for hours.
And just enough of them like digging out every single one individually, one by one, to understand the stakes of that.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen the sun come up by the end of it. Like they'd been there all night.
Yeah, it did seem like they were getting it all done very comfortably in the dead of night.
I mean,
even though that would have taken
essentially
hours
it was plot advancement through a series of gags. I mean, if it had drawn out, it would have lost its effect.
Edgar Wright, I felt like that was a very Edgar Wright-y kind of sequence. Another thought I had was that they were kind of like, because I'm just going to assume these personalities aren't super clear in the game. You know, they're just characters, and that's part of the fun of you getting to kind of play them.
Yeah.
I feel like at some point they decided, like, whatever Chris Pine's character's name is, they're like, what if Han Solo...
I don't remember a single name in this movie, by the way.
Yeah, it doesn't fucking matter. What if Han Solo was in this world and he was our protagonist? Like, they really did. I felt like there was, because they gave him such an obvious like archetype in terms of like comedy. I feel like everything that kind of got built around him kind of lived comfortably in that space of what I was saying earlier, that like, I don't even think Chris Pine is the character that Chris Pine is playing is expecting you to care very much about them. Like there was something that I found successful, that he almost projected an insignificance to their lives and their journey by just kind of the attitude he had about what they were doing. There wasn't this giant quest of good and evil from the beginning to the end.
No,
it was, he kind of got wrapped up into things, and his conscience got the better of him. But
he'd lost everything. He'd lost his direction. It wasn't until the end when he found his direction again, as well. So like I feel like they wrote and played that really well.
Yeah, and it didn't feel too serious at the end.
Yeah. I love that. It's like we've accomplished everything we want to accomplish, but there's something bad about to happen. He's like, well, shit. And around we go.
Yeah.
And then having to give the money back. I forgot that they had to give the money back.
Yeah.
That worked out really well. And then we got to see the world's most destructive thumb wrestle of all time in the middle of the town square.
Dude, I don't sell that short. That final battle, as short as it was epic in the spells that were getting thrown around. Like it was that was a D&D wet dream right there. Yeah.
Yeah, because
and when they finally take it down
Dave
and
just spooged.
when they finally take it down and the owlbear is just like fucking laying into her. It's like
that's funny.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Very Hulk
I was laughing out loud for that.
Because I got a little worried when you had this the whole world is at stake, right? The stakes were so high, and then it becomes a little one-on-one battle in the street. I got a little worried that we were diminishing the circumstances for the sake of our characters in that good and evil fight.
Yeah.
And I do feel like they pulled it off. So you had the Spice King from Game of Thrones in this. I love seeing a Game of Thrones cameo. Anytime there's some British, this is acting now. I love seeing that. It's usually Charles Dance. Do you know what his character's name was in Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix?
Who are you talking about?
The Spice King, the guy who is the adjudicator. He was like the main person in the prison granting the pardons. He was the Shawshank Redemption guy. You don't remember from season 2 of Game of Thrones? The second wealthiest man in Karth.
I don't remember him, dude. You have
His
seen
name was
that
Biggest
entire
Dickus.
series more than anyone I know, dude.
I'm single. So I think. All right, whatever. His name.
Available.
Yes, I'm open for suggestions. Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. He played
Yeah, who
Bob.
was he in that?
Played Bob. And you know what? In this movie, they might as well have called him Robert. Like, who the fuck knows what his
Fucking
name was
like
in this movie?
120,000 pounds of theater education.
Yep.
What are you? I was Bob in a Harry Potter movie.
There were some famous people in this that just played character, like creatures.
What is? Tell me how Bradley Cooper ended up in this movie. Can somebody A to Z that?
He's probably friends with Chris Pine.
Yeah, I think he probably just
Was it a
it was a
Pine
favor.
thing?
It felt like a favor. It
Yeah.
felt like this is to show you like the world of this movie. For Licorice Pizza, PTA reached out to him and it was like, "Do you want to do this fun role?" That was his version of doing a favor in that movie. This was definitely like a favor moment for this movie.
Or you
I
gotta
mean,
ask somebody, be like, look, 2 days of movie, you can do whatever you want. What do you think?
one day, dude. I
Yeah.
bet they shot that in a day.
Well, they
Yeah.
had to do some for the perspective things, maybe 2. And a costume fitting.
I don't know, man.
Maybe
Yeah,
they- maybe
with
they're like, dude,
the
let-
actual production.
Dude,
yeah.
you've been filming Lenny for 6 years, or whatever that Leonard Bernstein documentary is, Maestro. You've been filming Maestro for 6 years. Just have fun for 2 days, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
What did he say?
I liked
My
that
little
quip.
ho-ho?
I liked,
My sweet old ho-ho. I think that's what he called his wife.
I liked the joke that they were small. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
guess I do just want to
consistently
make
as well,
this point, and
those people appeared throughout the world constantly as well. It wasn't just him.
I wonder
So
if they
it
tell.
was a race.
I wonder if they tell people like him too. Like, just so you know, we all know Alec Guinness from Star Wars. So like, you need to be in the next generation's big movies, even if you're a bit cameo. Like, you got to be in them if you want to be remembered in the future, because it's very possible that in 60 years nobody's talking about Maestro. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, maybe.
I mean, did you just compare Bradley Cooper to Alec Guinness?
And did you just say
He has
that this
8
is going to be
Academy
one of
Award
the big
nominations.
movies of the next
No.
generation?
No, I'm saying the conversation. He's probably out to dinner one night and somebody's like, dude, just get involved in these movies that could actually be around for a while. American Sniper, we're not watching in 60 years. Sorry, dude.
Yeah, I haven't watched it at all.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I just want to back up for a second, just as a huge fucking cinephile and member of this industry. It's interesting that this is a comedy more than anything else to me. They're dealing with just and it is reminiscent. Like I'm not taking anything away from it. It is reminiscent of the really successful earlier Marvel films that seem to wrap up a lot of very, very familiar IP authentically with a really palatable sense of humor. So I'm not taking anything away from the success of it, but that is kind of interesting. You made that comment because as entertaining and as good as this was for people who are wanting to see this kind of movie, I don't think that this kind of movie will necessarily garner the kind of weight that something with a little bit more sincerity does have. So I'm curious to watch. I think that, like we've said it a million times, like obviously the early Star Wars movies don't have that kind of sense of humor outside of characters like Han Solo, but the earlier Marvel films are so much better because there is enough sincerity in certain climactic moments for each character and the way that the world is being built along the way in the earlier like 5 to 6 years of that franchise. This, by so shamelessly not really trying to put that flag in the ground, and I think they really are just trying to entertain us and have some fun. I'm curious to see if the sequels, which direction do you think they'll go in? I'm curious if they'll be even funnier and a little bit more on its face with a broad comedy, or if they'll try to create some like grounded sincerity as they're going to make 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 of these.
Well, I mean, the thing that, I mean, yeah, I feel like maybe they'll up the stakes a little to heighten the drama, but I feel like the quips will still be there when they come at you with a second one.
Sure,
what I'm interested in is, because they have a history of doing this, was did they role play this first? Like, did they actually
Good question.
create this adventure and have people play it through and take the ideas from what they did? Because there's a whole series of Dungeons and Dragons books called the Dragonlance series, and the first, I think, 6 books were famously played through as a role-playing game before they wrote them. And someone was like furiously taking notes, and they wrote the books based on what the characters, like the actual players, decided to do while they were playing the game.
That's really cool.
And I'm wondering, was it done? I really want to find out, was it done like that, or did they write this and this way? And because it kind of had the same feel. It was like, it was a little off the wall. It was like they were very distinct characters, almost like they were different people, which means it was well written. But yeah, I'm just wondering.
I mean, Jeremy Latcham, who's this producer that I'd mentioned at the top of the show, said that John Francis Daly, aka your boy from Waiting and all these and all the other shows you said,
Bones,
had the story idea ahead of time. I don't know if it was spec. I don't know how long it was, if it was script, if it was just plot. I don't know. But he said he had it ahead of time. But it doesn't mean
Hasbro was like, go on.
It doesn't mean that this very successful now writer director didn't just call up his friends a couple times and be like, let's get really high and play out this idea. And if it turns into a movie, I'll thank you and give you a little side hustle on it. You know. So I don't know. We know what else we didn't shout out? We didn't shout out that the cinematographer of this movie is a man named Barry Peterson, who did such movies as Game Night and Jumper, but also 21 Jump Street, which single-handedly got Kanye West to like the Jews again, according to his most recent posts.
Wow, that's quite.
Have you guys have you seen this post?
Dude, oh God, why has he still have Twitter?
It made headlines, and I'm only saying this out loud because this is a known thing. It's not just me making jokes about people's religions. This is a known thing where he said, I watched 21 Jump Street and I laughed a lot. I think I like the Jews again. Don't judge a whole group of people off of one people. And this motherfucker was involved in that movie. So you never know what you're going to be remembered for. You never know what you're going to be remembered for. No buzz in that.
Funny that DPs, isn't that interesting that certain DPs get kind of roped into a brand and a
working with a group of people
type and
constantly?
Stuff.
Which is funny because a lot of the DPs...
I guess they're just getting hired again, but mostly those bigger action comedies.
Well, if you look at this, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, We're the Millers, Lego Movie, so that's Miller and Lord. But then 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street, Vacation. Who do you think's hiring him? The same people that did this movie. So it's like, because we talk about this all the time, where we see cinematographers and they're working across genre all the time, also more than any other, more than actors.
The scene where she falls through the portal, and the portal for me was hilarious. But the scene where she falls through the portal into the trailer, I've seen a how-to of how they did that, and he really upped his game for this movie.
The way they did it in the same frame was really fun. That was really fun.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then the mirror falling. And they even do things like cheesy things like, look, if you were caught spying on a vault, they're not going to use that vault. It's not going to be the same way. And so you sit there as the audience member, or maybe it was just me sitting there going,
oh no, that was a plot thing. Nothing was ever going in that vault. He was stealing it all.
No, well, we know that now. But I mean, at the time, it was like, why did they even try? And then, of course, plan A never works out. So we have plan B and plan C, which is plan I. All of this stuff was subtle commentary on these normal things. I don't know. These people really thought this thing through. It was really well done.
Do you think Hugh Grant's exceptionally campy performance made Daisy Head's Red Wizard more ominous and terrifying?
To be honest, I don't think it was campy.
I found him a little campy occasionally. I didn't mind it, but yeah.
I thought he was always connected to Serafina. Is that the wizard's name? So I felt like he was only as campy as he could get away with, which grounded him.
Yeah, I feel like he was meant to be an annoyance to her. Like, she tolerated him, and it was so hard to tolerate him.
He tested her for sure, but I always felt like he was still connected. I never felt like he was off the rails. What do you think, John?
Yeah, it was fine, man. I don't know what you want to say. It was funny. like
John's ready to talk about it next week.
You're saying even he was like, guys, I didn't try. I don't know. Like me or hate me, I don't give a fuck.
He's like, dude, it's Dungeons and Dragons.
Honestly,
what do you fucking want from me? Come on.
Yeah, what do you want from me? I think they all did a really good job. In there's, you said it best. Everybody seemed to know their assignment, and nobody let anybody down. Yeah. I think everybody showed up and did exactly what they were supposed to do.
We talked
I don't
Justice
think
Smith. We haven't mentioned Justice Smith. Tough role, did a good job. The bumbling, not as good of a magician as Wish as he was. But
I thought he was endearing. That was good casting.
Yeah. That was good.
I thought he was really sweet. And Hugh Grant is fucking just brilliant and funny.
He got at least two great moments too. Like the Justice Smith got at least two great moments where
a couple.
It was like, you
confused me a little bit.
You literally
Dave.
have no faith in yourself.
Yeah.
why did just a story question? I wasn't actually frustrated. I was just a little curious. Why did he take the helmet off if it kind of
why did he put the helmet back on?
prevent the magic? Doesn't it prevent magic from working around you or something like that?
It prevents. It's meant to dispel everything in the vicinity.
So like only runes or cast spells. Yeah. So could he not have just kept it on?
It might have been helpful in the fight at the end, yes, if he still had it.
Especially since that was like his breakthrough,
that's the thing.
Wasn't it? Like
he had to take it off and leave it somewhere because otherwise that entire end fight couldn't have worked. So he had to lose that helmet.
I know that. Yeah, I understand like the reverse engineering of it, but there was a little bit of me that was like, I just thought he would wear that forever, and that was going to be kind of part of his identity.
Most people in the audience were sitting there going, "They're losing this fight. He should put the helmet back on."
No, he doesn't have it anymore.
I bet that was a tall order for him as an actor. It'd be like, why didn't I keep the helmet? Mm-hmm. And this is the kind of movie, folks.
I'm wondering, did we miss that it only works once? Because some of this shit has charges.
Maybe I don't know. But this is the kind of moment where the directors probably just said, "Don't overthink it. You don't have the helmet anymore. I mean, just play the scene."
The other thing,
because it doesn't make sense.
Like I said,
he doesn't.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It might have only had one charge, and he blew that charge.
Sure, he did. He fucking blew it all over the city.
Is that the Resurrection Stone? Sorry, that's another Harry Potter. The whatever that thing was called. Apparently the
Philosopher's Stone.
No,
the Sorcerer's Stone.
The Tablet of Revival.
The Tablet Stone. The Tablet of Revival.
Fuck everybody.
The helmet of yeah, sure.
It's not just the noun of adjective. That's not how this works.
Mother of Dragons.
Is it? And you know what? The guy in this movie says that a couple times. You guys don't remember that. Anyway.
No.
The second wealthiest man in Carve, who actually is the most wealthy. It doesn't matter. Anyway, is that a known thing in the game that you can only use it once? Because I sort of assumed that, but then at the end, as it was coming, I was like,
the thing is, in the game, magic items have charges. Once you expend the charges, they're useless.
But where is this irreplaceable helmet that was the first half of our movie was trying to find? Where did they leave it? That's a very. Is he supposed to protect it with his life or something?
I'll tell you when I watch it the second time what happened there. That might have been just a quick, let's just lose it. Like,
yeah, because they got to find it again because that's like a big deal.
But where did they lose it? I don't remember where they lost it.
I don't know either. He just didn't have it the next time. Anyway, this is the kind of thing where like, I'm gonna criticize this movie and I'm gonna compliment it
at that point because he went into the vault and it was empty. They all got captured. It got taken off him.
But he didn't have it by then.
How did they not show that to us?
I don't know what was happening.
How did they not show us that scene where they took the helmet and hid it? Why don't we?
But this is the beauty of a movie like this. It was all those other elements were so there that a plot hole, all those elements succeeding in being there, combined with a movie like this, really just doesn't matter. Who cares? True. That this plot hole exists.
Yeah. Like that epic battle at the end.
We all moved on. We had a good time. Whatever.
And if it was a Marvel movie, it would have been an after credit scene. And I'm really happy that there wasn't one. And if there was, I didn't watch it. So
there was one.
Fuck.
There was one.
There was mid credits. Yeah.
What? I stayed for a while. What was the mid credit?
At the end of the mid credits, it cut back to the guy that they hadn't.
Is anybody going to ask me another question?
And they went
full. We want to see that. I had to pee really bad, by the way.
It was a joke end credit scene. So like,
fine.
But they went full on like face on him in the camera. It's like, is anyone going to ask me a question?
I think they should have left two really bad. Yeah.
I think they should have left two of them alive, and then they're like arguing about who's going to ask the question or something, and then one of them accidentally asks, and they're like, "Oh shit!" and then the other guy does.
The thing is, it has to be the person who casts the spell. Like,
oh, all right, but it wasn't. He never asked them the questions. Chris Pine did.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Again,
Dave.
Who cares, right? Right? Yeah, like in the best way possible. They succeeded so much that I don't really, I don't think
maybe
most
I made
of the
that rule
fans,
up. I don't know.
No, that's fine.
All right.
Well, we're gonna see a lot more of these movies, whether we want to or not. These Dungeons and Dragons movies are happening.
And you know what?
Hasbro is probably about to make a lot of their other games into movies since this one was so successful.
They've improved a millionfold on the first one that was made in 2000. So
they're probably trying to like get past it.
This is for all of us. Also, this was a Paramount production, we should say. That's for all of us for loving this movie. This is a Paramount production. Paramount has their own network now, so this could also be a TV show.
Can I also point out as well, any movie that messes with the opening logos, I love.
The opening logos was interesting.
Wait. I do want to point out that
There are 3 intros, by the way, but it's okay.
that weird intro with the dragon against the screen.
Yeah.
Did you guys get that?
Yeah.
What the fuck was that for?
What dragon against the screen?
There was a moment after their promo introduction, the weird cast promo, that happened. And then it went to what looked like it was an image of what was supposed to be the movie theater screen with nothing projected on it, with a little D&D logo on the bottom right. And then you saw like the dragon as though it was moving against the screen from behind it, like pushing against it. And then it like roared, and then it blew fire through it, and then the movie started.
Okay, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I didn't get that. No.
I was pretending.
Maybe it's just in the IMAX, but it was another waste of time.
No,
promo was a waste of time, and that was a waste of time.
Yeah.
Just start the movie.
We didn't have that.
I don't know why they're doing that.
I didn't see that either. I forget I said it, that I saw it because I didn't. That's fucking weird.
What were you talking about?
Nothing. I was just supporting you as a friend.
Oh, that's great. Thanks, man.
Buzzing for it.
Well,
Also, I had already
just
played
to make it crystal fucking clear, if you have a kid or a family, probably go see this. If you like serious movies, you do not need to go see this movie.
Yeah, if you're looking
everybody.
for drama and shit, no, this is not the movie for you.
If you're on vacation with people and you can't figure out what to do, just fucking put this movie on. I bet you people would laugh. They'll be like, "Oh, why are we watching this movie?" And then, "Oh, why are they this? Oh, why are they that?" And then they would watch the whole movie.
Jeff, you're quoting from their pitch to Paramount.
Yeah.
This is like, honestly, we're gonna be that movie that when you're like, nah, it was.
They're gonna say, just put this movie on.
Succeeded.
People can go to the bathroom. They could go smoke weed on the roof and come back and not miss enough. They pick it right up where they left off. Oh,
speaking of having
the guy from Bridgerton's in here.
Speaking of having a movie with friends over, have you seen Tommy Wiseau has another film coming out?
Get out of here.
It's called like Big Shark or something.
Big Shark. I hope it's called Big Shark.
Gonna let him. Do you think they're gonna really just let him go free with a long leash?
There's a trailer.
Or are they gonna, like,
the trailer's already out. Look it up.
Look, Chef's Cook. You know.
What's really going to be brilliant
is
the movie that they're making about the making of this movie.
Yes, right.
That will be great.
Oh, you both shut up.
Oh, come on.
Guys, that sound means that it's time
You're
for our...
tearing me apart, Lisa.
Yeah, he's this and maybe a vampire. I don't know. All right, moving on.
Oh, my God. Guys, it's time to head into our final segment of the night, what you've been watching, where we tell you what we have been
so
watching.
Fun. Jeff forgot what this segment was called.
Our recommendations. I felt like there was something else I was going to say, but I think that's it. I mentioned, never mind. So let's get into our final segment, what you've been watching. Dave, we'd like to start with you. What have you been watching?
Well, I'm still going through Picard.
And how's your Marvel rewatch going, we should ask you.
I'm up to Avengers. Because it's been a bit slow this week. I was busy.
How many movies is that from Iron Man 1 to Avengers?
I think it's 4.
And the order. And wait. Did you say you're watching it
just
chronologically or
Yeah.
sequentially? The way it came out, or the chronological?
I think it's
that new list they released.
It's kind of chronological, except Captain America's like after Thor.
But there's 2 Iron...
That's the way it was released, right?
Yeah, it might be release order. It's,
Iron Man 1,
I'm watching it in phase
Captain
order.
America,
I'm watching
Thor,
it in phase order, not
which is the way they
chronological.
released
Yeah.
it.
So it's 5 then.
Okay.
So it's 5. 2 Iron Man, a Captain America, Thor. And they're ignoring the Hulk.
2
The
Iron
Hulk
Man,
doesn't
Thor,
count.
Captain America.
And then
Thor, Captain America.
Who cares? Then Avengers is 5.
And then Avengers is after that. Yeah.
And the Hulk didn't count, but
Nice.
it would have been 6.
Yeah. I didn't watch the Hulk.
I'm always angry. Nice, dude. How'd you like that revolving hero shot? Did it really stick it for you?
Yeah, it still does.
That thing gets used all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very proud of that one. Yeah.
In the
I would be.
Avengers.
Yeah.
Did Joss Whedon direct the first Avengers?
Yes.
Yeah.
First and
By
second.
himself.
Yeah.
First and second.
Yeah.
But not the Avengers with Ray Fiennes and is it Elizabeth?
Oh God.
Harley?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's a whole different thing.
How's Picard, Dave?
Picard is still good. It's oh my God, it holds up so much. Yeah, it's probably the best Trek they've released, except for Strange New Worlds, which is also
Dave,
awesome.
Paramount Plus, are you sponsoring this episode? Because you should be.
Yeah.
I feel like we are.
Talk to us,
we're really
Paramount Plus,
propping it up
'cause-
here.
Give us a
Come on.
login. Give us a login.
I will sing your praises.
John, what you been watching?
I finished Drive to Survive this recent season. I guess that's season 5.
Isn't it fucking weird?
Speaking of, did you hear that?
That was the best time drive-by ever.
That sounded like their opening little. Isn't it weird that they cut out the Max versus Checo thing?
Because he's in LA.
Did they? Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, because at the end of 2022, Checo was running for second in the whole standings behind Charles Leclerc, and they were essentially tied. And Max wouldn't let his teammate pass to get those points, even though he already had the drivers' championship locked up. And there was they showed of who he really was, and then they cut it out of the Netflix special. This is the
Weird.
juice. Max is supposed to be an anti-hero, and the Netflix show made him seem an actual hero, which doesn't make any sense because people hate Max.
I think they're trying to shift it because he is so clearly going to be the number one for the next several years.
Yeah.
I think that they are trying to get on board and be a little bit more cushy with Red Bull. I'm also I don't follow the actual seasons as in depth.
Yeah,
I like to just wait for the show.
Gunther lives like half a mile from where you grew up.
I own 4 D12s. So I have no idea what they're talking about.
Man, Dave, it's fun. You should watch it.
Dave, the editing is so good. Just watch it for the audio editing and the video editing alone.
It is brilliant. Shout out to, I don't know this guy personally, but we've had him on the show before. One of the assistant editors on Mandalorian, Chris Hurt, who's been on the show a couple of times.
What does he think of this season of Mandalorian? Sorry, go ahead.
Come on, dude. He's proud of it. Come on. He's proud of it.
It looks great.
Yeah, come on. He, one of his buddies, who he's known for a long time, got his first big editing break. He edited season 5 of Formula One,
nice.
And he's with them now on Drive to Survive, and fucking cool. Anyway,
really cool.
I did that, and then I watched Emergency NYC, the 8-part docuseries on Netflix that is about EMTs, ER, not just ER doctors, trauma surgeons, all the way up to neurosurgery and different kinds of surgery, kidney transplant. It's just in general.
Are you sure you're not watching The Purge?
Oh wait, man. Y'all, this was meaningful. I had tears in my eyes like a lot of the time. A really, really deep cut coverage of the medical system in a few different hospitals in New York City post-pandemic, dealing with all the issues you think they're going to be talking about. It was really emotional, really good. Some good character pieces on the doctors and nurses and EMTs they study. And then I also watched, and I definitely want to recommend this because I did not watch this a couple of years ago when it was nominated, I think during the pandemic, for Best Documentary. It's on Hulu right now. It's made by Bianca Stitcher, who is Steve McQueen's wife and producing partner, but she's her own filmmaker, of course, as well. 3 minutes, a lengthening, about that 3 minutes of home video footage from somebody's grandfather who is a Jewish descendant, who their grandfather went to the Polish village that their wife was from and took 3 minutes of footage before most of that village, town, like a couple of years later, was just destroyed. And it's this really interesting meditation on how to break down film, to try to use it as like a detective piece to find out anything and everything you can about the subjects, the people, the town, and how much history is lost, what they were able to find out, any survivors, just with 3 minutes. And the way that they loop and create all these editing effects, you kind of just feel like you're living there for a little bit. It was really beautiful, really touching, not just a sad watch. There's a good catharsis there. And it was just a fun little meditation on all of our lost movies.
Yeah.
I don't know about anybody else, but do you have a lot of home videos that you haven't digitized yet?
I have an open project going on the machine right next to me. So yeah.
Of that kind of shit. Yeah. So it was really beautiful. It's on Hulu. I recommend watching it. It's only like an hour and 6 minutes too. It's a quick one.
Docu fans, pay attention.
That's fucking awesome. We're talking about Air next week. How badly, John, do you want to watch like a fucking artistically stimulating movie the week after?
Oh, so bad. Yeah. I'd love to.
We should give you a choice. I do feel like kind of an
asshole, you guys. We missed out on the Sundance jury winning movie is out right now in theaters about a mother who like kidnaps her kid from the foster care system, and it won like the jury prize, and that's just kind of a sign of the times to me. The Sundance winning movie is in theaters right now, and nobody's really talking about it. It's probably good. I haven't seen it yet.
What's it called? Because I did look recently, because a friend of mine was like, what do we want to see? And we ended up watching fucking Tetris, but I was like, well, this is at Lincoln Square.
It is called...
At my local theater, it's Scream. It's
1001.
I don't think...
Did you guys see a little listing for it?
I don't remember seeing that at Lincoln Square.
Anyway,
Because we were looking,
yeah,
and
I'd
it
like
was
to see
like
something
it was
serious, yeah.
Scream, Shazam, this Avatar is still out, and it's like, I mean,
Summer's going to get even worse. There's
Jeff, you know what? I also wanted to mention this for sure. I think, Dave, I think you would appreciate it too. I got to Q&A and watch this movie called Spinning Gold, which is coming out.
I've heard of this.
I think it came out on Thursday or Friday, and I got to speak with the director, and this was really fun, you guys. It is like almost like a musical or a musicalized, because there are so many famous artists and songs from the 70s and disco era that Neil Bogart and Casablanca Records, Donna Summer, George Clinton, Bill Withers, like these famous fucking people. And it literally just walks you through this guy's career in kind of a him telling you his story kind of way. It's made by his son, Tim Bogart. Very nostalgic. But if you want to watch that kind of movie, like it was kind of fun. I would recommend people, if you want to go visit the 70s and just listen to that kind of music,
That'd be
a bunch of fun reenactments of current music artists playing those people. It was pretty cool.
Just so everyone knows, I was alive in the
I would love to
70s.
see
I
something.
experienced it for real. But yeah, I'd love to go back there.
Do you have a disco memory, Dave, as like a small child when you were like dancing to
there's nothing negative about
something
that.
disco?
Yeah, Dave.
I don't think
Yes,
you're
I
so young.
definitely have memories of dancing to disco.
I love it.
How was your dancing?
Anyway.
I should say 1001 and Spinning
I
Gold,
was
as well
7.
as 1001, Spinning Gold, and A Good Person are all at Lincoln Square. So, John, we lied to you. That movie is playing near us. They're both playing near us.
Yeah, I figured it was. Yeah. And the what, Discovering Richard. What was that one? The last one you said?
I don't know. A good person. I feel like
A Good Person. The one
I feel like
Forrest
what am I,
Gump and,
Monty?
Some of the drunk
Yeah, yeah.
stupid rules,
I feel
right?
like I'm in Monty Python and the Holy Grail. What's your favorite color? Blue. I mean, red.
It's yellow.
Thank you to everybody still listening and or watching. But that has been our episode.
Jeff, what did you watch? Did you tell us?
Yes.
No, I didn't tell you.
He told us one thing, but then it just went off on tangents.
I interrupted you.
hold
I'm
on.
sorry.
You know what? Fuck it.
Buzz me again. I have like a little bit of beer left. Thank you. Okay.
You've asked me twice.
Just a touch.
I watched Tetris. It's not good, but if you want to watch it, just fucking watch it. Who gives a shit? It's like they try to throw all these other genres. Did you know Tetris ended the Cold War? I didn't. You know, it's like they try to throw all these genres on you. Also, by the way,
Jesus.
fuck the new Tetris, because I tried playing it today and it was like, you don't have a good signal, you can't play. And I was like, just let those motherfucking Tetra, like 4 block things, fall from the goddamn sky. I don't understand why I need a fucking network connection to play this goddamn game. It's the simplest game. They used to play this on graphics that right now wouldn't even pinch a butt hair out of my existence. You know what I mean? Like, why is it that something that was
Just
available
for a couple of seconds, I'm going to put it
40
in
years ago-
Tetris graphics mode.
Please do. Something 40 years ago, and now they wouldn't even power a light bulb. It's so weak, and now they're like, no, you have to be connected to the server. Fuck new Tetris.
Yeah. Fuck
What
it.
else did you watch?
All
right, that's it, film fans.
I'm catching up on Succession season 3, which I've always been.
You're catching up. I haven't started for yet either.
I know you haven't, because I've been fucking up your system on your.
Yeah, of course you have.
But I know where I am though. I have said I've been harder on Succession in the past. Everybody else is like, do you watch Succession? It's so good. And I was like, it's mostly a bunch of people in a room talking about who's going to succeed. So I don't think it's as great as everybody thinks it is. But this season is starting to get a little bit better. The Kendall, season 3, it's starting to pick up for me. But for the most part, it really is. That's why they need to go hunting or on a boat, because it's like all they do is talk in a room. It's not like they like have action. You know, it's not like consequences matter. It's just them talking about shit. So they need to go somewhere fancy to talk about it. Oh, you're on drugs? Let's go to your rehab and then talk about it. I don't love Succession the way everybody else does it. I don't mind saying it out loud. However, season 3 is hooking me because we have some conflict, and I think that they're doing it well. So kudos to season 3 of Succession. Anyway,
I think you'll appreciate the ending of 3. I
appreciated the ending of 2 and the ending of 1, but getting up there with 9 hours of people talking in a room.
All right. We got to wrap this up. We're starting to get longer than a Matt and Mark episode.
Yeah.
So
Matt and Mark,
The lovers of cinema.
our publicists,
The lovers of cinema.
The lovers of cinema. Guys, we're talking about Air next week. I'm going to be on the Matt and Mark movie show next week now that we're shitting on them, talking about Mario And we're also all going to be on Life is a Song, where we talk about Reefer Madness, the movie musical. It's a whole podcast about movie musicals, so we're going to be debaucherous. And on Easter, we are going to leave our families to talk about Reefer Madness, the movie musical.
Our families knew what this was.
And somehow I'm going to have to see 3 movies next week. Fucking can't wait. All right, people, thank you so much.
And you can watch Reefer Madness right now, dude.
Tell your friends to like, subscribe, and follow if you're still listening or watching. You're the best. Bye, film fans.